belonging to a Vaishnava is pure. So irrespective of the material condition of the pot, one should see that if it is belonging to a Vaishnava, that has to be very pure. That will be very pure. That is the main point rather than thinking in what vessel the water was lying. So if a Vaishnava is giving prasad even in a leaf, one would accept happily rather than eating from a bhakt or a non-Vaishnava who might have cooked anyway and not offered the food. So a devotee would prefer a prasad cooked by a Vaishnava, and he might not have any proper plates or proper plates for guests to offer. But the intention is important, and what the Vaishnava has cooked and he has offered as bhoga, and then he has given prasad to the devotees, and that is more important because he might not have a proper vessel to offer. He might offer in a piece of leaf or pluck a leaf from its garden and put some khichdi prasad and give to the devotees. That is more greater. So what belongs to a Vaishnava is greater from a spiritual point of view. Dhambikera Ratna Patra Divya Jala Sane Achuka Pibara Karya Na Dekhe Nayane Ese Dravya Seva Kera Sarva Bhave Khaya Naivedya Vidira O Apeksha Nahi Saya Alpa Dravya Dase O Inadi Lebha Lekhaya Tara Sakshi Brahmane Rakhuda Dvara Kaya अवशेषे सेवा केरे कारे आत्मसात तारा साक्षी वनवासे युधिष्ठिर सखा सेवक कृष्णेर पिता माता पत्नी भाई दासा भाई कृष्णेर द्वितीय आरानाई ये रूप चिंतस्ये दासे ये रूप हया दासे कृष्णे करी बारे परये विक्रया. Even if he is thirsty, the Lord does not glance at the water offered by a proud person in an opulent jeweled water cup. The Lord eats with full satisfaction any item offered by his servant, regardless of whether the offering was made according to regulations. Even if his servant does not offer an item because he considered it too insignificant, the Lord forcibly eats it. The evidence of that was when Lord ate Sudama Brahmana's broken rice in Dwaraka. So most of us know the story of Sudama when he went to meet Krishna in Dwaraka. He was absolutely having nothing in his house. In fact, his wife went and borrowed chipped rice from the neighbor, and she told, just carry this. And how did he carry? He carried on his shoulder cloth. The above the dhoti, the men wear shoulder cloth. Utriya. In that Utriya, he had tied a potli and hung on his shoulders, and he had taken that. So it didn't matter how the devotee bought, but the intent and the love with which the devotee bought was important. In fact, Sudama was feeling so shy that he didn't even share it. But the Lord knew, the Lord is Sarveshwara, the Lord knew that Sudama had brought something, and ultimately he just snatched it from Sudama's shoulders and then he partook the broken rice. The Lord even accepts the remnants of his servants. This was seen during the Pandavas' exile to the forest when the Lord ate the remnants of Yudhishthira's leafy vegetables. So once Draupadi had cooked for all the Pandavas, and then this Durvasa Rishi announced that he's going to come with his 60,000 disciples, and he said he will take bath in the river and he'll come and partake prasad. And by the time the Draupadi got to know this is going to come for prasad, she checked the pot and there was nothing left, and she didn't know, and there was no ingredients also. She didn't know what to cook. And then she told Krishna about it. Then Krishna said, okay, show me the pot. And there was one green leafy vegetable stuck to the pot, corner of the pot. Krishna partook it, took that prasad, took that leafy vegetable. And what happened? Durvasa Rishi and his 60,000 disciples who were taking bath were suddenly feeling very full. As if they had already had the prasad. And then they said, no, we are not coming for prasad now that we are full. So that that thing saved Draupadi that day because Krishna took that one leafy vegetable from the pot. Krishna's father, mother, wife, and brother are all his servants. Krishna does not recognize anyone other than his servants. The Lord accepts the form that his servant meditates on, and Krishna's servants can even sell him. So the Lord is so merciful to the devotees that the devotee, whatever relationship the devotee has with Lord, the Lord reciprocates in the same devotional, in the same mood. Ye yetam mam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham. So if somebody is worshipping Lord as his son, then talking to Lord Krishna daily, accordingly Lord reciprocates with them. Similarly, somebody worships or communicates with Lord as his sakha, as a friend, accordingly the Lord reciprocates. So in this way, they say that the devotees have full control over the Supreme Lord because the Lord is bought by his devotee by their affectionate devotion, loving devotional service. The Lord is purchased by only bhakti and devotion. If anyone in this material world has many possessions, then he naturally becomes proud. Such a proud person then takes shelter of misconception like, I am the best, I am rich, I am the best collector of ingredients for worshipping the Lord, I am a great devotee. Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas like Sridhara Swami are Mayavadis. Lord Gaurasundara does not even glance at such people or desire to accept any of their offerings. So we cannot say, I have done this, I have done this. So rather, we are collecting the things to worship the Supreme Lord because whatever we find in this material world, it is for the enjoyment of the Supreme Lord. And we cannot say that, okay, I have made this I. So this I will relate to our ahankar, our ego. The awe and reference of this material world is unable to oblige the Supreme Lord, who is the object of Vishwambara Sakhya, friendship in equality, Vatsalya, and Madhurya Rasas or transcendental mellows. The Supreme Lord forcibly yet affectionately takes even an insignificant item that is given by his poor devotee, and the Lord ignores items offered according to proper etiquette by wealthy, proud persons. So we know many examples. So somebody can quote an example from Mahabharata where Krishna rejected a very opulent meal but accepted a simple offering by one of his pure devotees. Somebody would like
Yes,
to give the
yes, yes, Mataji.
yeah,
विदुरा एंड दुर्योधन दुर्योधन के
yeah.
मेवा त्यागो और साग
Hmm.
विदुर घर खाए.
Correct. So there's a nice song written on that Duryodhan offered him Chappan Bhog to Supreme Lord, but then it was with total ghamand, with proud. And then Lord looks at intentions. So as you progress in bhakti, or even in the early stage also, God is only, Supreme Lord is looking, Krishna is looking only at our intentions. That is the difference between the neophyte devotee and the devotees situated in Madhyamadikari, neophyte devotee, he only worships the Lord in the temple, but he disrespects all other Vaishnavas. He doesn't respect the Vaishnavas. Whereas a person in Madhyamadikari who has progressed slowly and then he is respecting the scriptures, he accepts what Lord says in the scriptures, and he respects all the Vaishnavas, all the devotees. That is the position of a Madhyamadikari. So ultimately, when one has to, go to the Supreme Lord, one example is given in this case that when you light a diya, there is a wick, there is a vat. The wick is soaked in either ghee or oil and it is lit. But what happens once the oil is fully soaked up or ghee is fully soaked up, the wick को क्या हो जाता है? बात को क्या हो जाता है जब दिया फुल्ली बर्न कंप्लीट हो जाता है या तेल कंप्लीट हो जाता है व्हाट हैपेंस टू द विक
वो जल जाती, बंद हो जाती प्रकाश देना.
हाँ नहीं बंद हो जाती है या कभी पूरा पूरा बात ही अपना जल जाता है ठीक है
हाँ,
भस्म
पूरा
हो
जल
जाता है
जाती है. यस,
इसी
यस.
प्रकार हमारा ग्रॉस बॉडी वो जो विक है हमारा ग्रॉस बॉडी और सटल बॉडी माइंड, इंटेलिजेंस एंड ईगो, ये दोनों का भस्म होने के बाद ही हम भगवान के पास जा सकते हैं। सो ग्रॉस बॉडी और सटल बॉडी दोनों को त्याग करने के बाद ही, ग्रॉस बॉडी तो हम सबको मालूम है, विद द प्रोग्रेस ऑफ टाइम we have jara vyadi and something will happen and we will have to tyag our gross body, but this I the mind, intelligence, self ego, all this false ego, that will also be burnt. And how will that be burnt? By following pure devotional service. Only when we realize at the time of the death, the soul, the atma realizes, oh, I am not this body, I am not this so and so, I am not this, I don't have this designation. Oh, I left that body. So all our designation is burnt with that body being burnt and consumed by the Pancha Mahabhuta. So what is left then? Mind, intelligence, self-ego, subtle body. The subtle body also will have to be burned. Otherwise, oh, I did this, I did this, I bought this, I grew this, and I am offering. So the Jiva is only a witness. So in a couple of classes before, we discussed that Jiva is just a witness. The material nature arranges things as per the um, uh, requirement, as per the desires, as per the mind's desires of the jiva. The material nature arranges, Supreme Lord sanctions, and the jiva is able to do some activity in this material world. But only when we burn away our subtle body, then so we can reach to the, that is when we are purified and we can go to the lotus feet of Krishna. The Supreme Lord forcibly yet affectionately takes even an insignificant item that is given by his pure devotee, and the Lord ignores item offered according to proper etiquette by wealthy, proud persons. So we saw that दुर्योधन का भोग न खायो विदुर घर शाक खायो, right? So he didn't accept the chappan bhog offered by Duryodhan, but he goes to Vidura where lovingly he eats the humble offering by Vidura. So the Lord accepted with pleasure the leafy vegetables collected in the forest and offered by Yudhishthira during his exile. The wife, father, mother, friend, and servant of Krishna, who is the object of worship, are certainly all his servants. The Supreme Lord's service, which is the wealth of those servants who are associates in the Lord's eternal pastimes, is executed by different servants in different rasas. So, as we described earlier, each of the relationships. A wife will have a conjugal madhurya rasa with the Supreme Lord. Father and mother will have parental vatsalya rasa. Friend will have sakya rasa, and the servants of Krishna will have dasya rasa. So in all of these people will worship the Lord in these moods or these rasas, and ultimately the jiva realizes that, oh, this was an illusion, this was an entire dream. When his body is consumed in flames, then he realizes, oh, I am not this body. I was living like so and so. I was living like this was my name. Oh no, now I don't have a body and there is no name. There is no designation. There are no duties attached, which was attached, which he thought that I am the controller in that body, and he thought that was this. But what he was doing was naimittika dharma. He was doing that dharma in that when he is encapsulated in the body. When the jiva realizes that he is not the body, then he has to realize, ultimately comes to a point of realization, jive swarupoi krishnera nityadas. He is the eternal servant in whichever mood he wants to have relationship with the Supreme Lord. सेवक वत्सल प्रभु चारी वेदे गाया, सेवकेर स्थाने कृष्ण prakashe sadaya. The four Vedas declare the Lord is affectionate to his servants, and Krishna always manifests himself to his servants. While the Lord is neutral to all, but then in Bhagavad Gita he says he has a special heart for his devotees. नयन भरिया देखा दासेरा प्रभावा, हे न दास्या भावे कृष्णे कर अनुरागा. Behold the influence of the Lord's servants to the full satisfaction of your eyes, and then become attached to Krishna in that mood of service. Alpahena namaniya Krishna dasa nama, alpa bhage dasa nahi kare bhagavana. Do not consider the designation servant of Krishna as something insignificant, for the Supreme Lord does not accept a less fortunate person as his servant. So, don't think that just somebody says, I am servant of you or servant of the Supreme Lord means it is a very cheap position, but that is the ultimate position. So, like in some other context in Srimad Bhagavatam, we were discussing that there is a highest fame. So, can somebody just guess what could be the highest fame in this world for a jiva? If somebody is praying for highest fame, so one of the chinna on the lotus feet of Krishna is a barley corn, and the barley corn, if one meditates on the barley corn, he gets the highest fame. So, in the context of what we are studying, either Chaitanya Charitamrita or any of the scriptures, can somebody just say what could be the highest fame for anyone?
Become a Krishna Das.
Hari Bol, yes. So the highest fame is to be recognized by others that, oh, this person is a great Vaishnava. This person is achieving a lot of spiritual progress and he is a great Vaishnava. So to understand that I am Krishna Das and I want to only please Krishna, everything else is a waste of time for me. Me pleasing my colleagues, me pleasing my the bosses, me pleasing the materialistic people is going to be a waste of time. All of them will not care us if we are not in that position. But Supreme Lord Krishna, whether you are, he doesn't look at what position you are. He only looks at our care, our concern, our affection, and our devotion and prayers to the Supreme Lord. So the topmost person of this material world are engaged in the service of Supreme Lord. Notwithstanding this fact, conditioned souls with high aspirations ascertain various non-devotional services as sadhana. Yet the goals they ultimately achieve as a result of their sadhana are all examples of aversion to the Lord's service. So people who don't understand that serving the Supreme Lord is the highest thing, they are involved in doing sadhana of various other things, material things. When a human being's propensity for service of Supreme Lord is fully awakened, he becomes supremely glorious. So जब एक जीवा ये समझ जाता है कि मेरा ओरिजिनल स्वरूप क्या है, जीवेर स्वरूप होय, that I am Supreme Lord's servant and I have to serve him. He then becomes supremely glorious. And that is the biggest fame the Jiva attains in this world or in the other world as well. The Lord's devotees who always desire the benefit of others pray that everyone's attachment to Krishna may increase. So, what does a devotee think? He wants that whomsoever he meet, they also become a Krishna Bhakta. So, he wants to give that relishment which he is going through, that ecstasy which he is going through by meditating on Lord or by serving Lord, even others to get it. So that he wants to share to others that, oh, you also become Krishna's devotee, you also chant one round, or you also come to the Kirtan. Just come and relish Kirtan for just 15 minutes or half an hour, and then you will not go away from that Kirtan place. The object of service is pleased only by service. The so who is our object of service is the Supreme Lord, and he is pleased only by loving devotional service. The endeavor to fulfill this desire, the desires of the object of service is called bhakti. So Krishna, we can know only through bhaktyamam abhi janati, only through bhakti, but not through jnana, karma, ashtanga yoga, or any other mental speculation. We cannot reach Krishna. There has to be the element of bhakti. Only then we can reach the Supreme Lord. This conviction is manifested in the hearts of 1 minute. Just a This conviction is manifested in the hearts of most fortunate persons. Since the relishable taste of the Lord's service is not a subject matter of unfortunate people's realization, their good fortune is burned to ashes. The Supreme Lord does not award his service to such unfortunate people. So, what happens to unfortunate people who don't realize that the ultimate aim is to satisfy the Supreme Lord by loving devotional service? Their good fortune, whatever they had, is burned to ashes. And the Lord does not award his service to such unfortunate people. So, the people who don't realize this, that this is the supreme thing in material world, having got a human body, if we are not on the path of bhakti, then it is our life is wasted. This whole one life which we got as human being, which is bahunam janmanam ante. So only after many lifetimes we get a human body, that lifetime is also wasted. So everybody is agreeing to this, or you have any different opinion? Anybody has any
माता जी
comment?
एग्री एग्री
We we fully
मगर
agree,
माता
Mataji.
जी
Fully.
मगर माता जी एक वो प्रश्न ऐसा है कि अगर हम नॉन डिवोटियों के साथ अगर रहते हैं सब साथ में, तो उनको ऐसा ही लगता है कि हम ये सब वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम है। मेरे साथ कल ही ऐसा हुआ। वो बोल रहे सब यू आर वेस्टिंग सो मच टाइम इन डूइंग पूजा एंड पाठ एंड ऑल दिस थिंग, माला एंड। तो अब उनको कैसे समझ आए, कुछ समझ वो, क्योंकि वो दे आर नॉट इन द स्टेट टू अंडरस्टैंड, they are always
Yes,
blaming
Mataji,
me.
I'll give you one example, and then you can use that example uh, to progress further. Okay, there is a there is a there is a family, the husband, wife, and two children. Okay, maybe they are young. The husband is around 40, the wife may be around 35. Okay, everything was going good till last year. Everything was fine. Suddenly, this year in January, the wife gets a disease called cancer. Okay, they have two children, yes, small children. Okay, now what would we do as a devotee? We will say at least now at least you take up chanting, but they were not devotees. Although the husband has visited a couple of times some temples taken by a devotee, but they are not into, they would eat everything including non-veg. Okay, now in such a situation, as devotee we know what could be the end game for that jiva, the wife who is suffering. Okay, ultimately within 5-6 months she is succumbed by the disease. समझ रहे हो ना आप लोग क्या मैं बोल रही हूँ? हाँ, तो वो she
Yes,
passes
Mata.
away. She passes away. The wife passes away, leaving behind a 7-year-old girl and a boy studying in ninth standard. Now we know the truth as devotees. When you see externally, you're observing this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. The biggest problem the scientists face is why we are getting repeated birth, why there is suffering. Okay, and one should realize that Padam Padam Yat Vipadam Natesham. The miseries are coming to everybody in some rupa or other rupa, right? If there is a rich man, he is in a misery that ये wealth मेरा कम नहीं होना चाहिए. Or if there is a poor man, he is looking for his next meal. आम आदमी के लिए कुछ ना कुछ before COVID, after COVID, all of us are facing through some things. We don't know when things will strike. But devotee कैसे लेता है, non devotee कैसे लेता है? Ultimately, in the prayer meeting yesterday, yesterday or 2 days yesterday, I think, yeah, there was a Buddhist monk who came. A Buddhist monk who came, he was invited, and he says, "No need to cry. Why are you going to cry? Why are you going to cry? Why are you crying for? Because the person who has passed away." Because he says, 100 years later, no, everybody sitting in this room is going to go away. So, having done bhakti, are you in a better place, or having enjoying the material life but not thinking about Lord? But maybe मेरे neighbor जो बोलता है मैं वैसे करूंगा, मैं आज से जाप वाप छोड़ दूंगा, और I go and follow what my neighbor said कि they are telling me I am wasting time, and let me also enjoy movie, couple of beaches, and go here and there and eat till late in night and have all sorts of vices and come back home. So you tell me, what will you do?
नहीं
The
माता जी,
only
हमें तो
the,
कोई भी
hmm,
परिस्थिति में यही छोड़ने वाले नहीं. इट इज माय
correct.
मिशन.
Correct. So there was one person saying, "Is there God?" So you are doing so much bhakti, you are chanting so many mantra, you are chanting. So what will happen at the end of lifetime? You come to know that there is no God, there is no Krishna. Okay. So the sub person says, okay, what happens to you that you don't do anything in this lifetime, and at the end you realize there is Supreme Lord. So he has wasted his lifetime, right? The person, your whose or neighbor is talking to you like that, they are wasting their time, not us. So if you see in the long term, everybody is gone. So one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, what is the expectation of death? Is it 60%, 80%, 70%? Srila Prabhupada says 100%, 100%. All of us are going to meet death. The only thing how we take it. So devotees take it, embrace it nicely because it is a change of service for them. The service will continue. It's a change of platform for them. The bodily platform changes into another spiritual platform. Okay. But for non-devotees, death is the end game. They think that after that, nothing. So for them, everything is over. But for devotees, even if there is kashta coming, if there is a misery coming, what does the devotee think? The devotee thinks that मेरे previous संचित कर्म अभी उनका उनका निवारण हो रहा है. I'm going because I'm going through this misery because I have done so much pap, and Krishna has spared me by just giving this much, as a what you call prayashchit. So you accept it and you get closer to Krishna. That is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. A non-devotee said, "Why me?" And he will cry. Sometimes he'll blame God, but he will not try to take the lessons from it. But a devotee in such times will get closer to Krishna and do maximum service, or even probably um, uh, if things goes worse, he will just stay in a temple or go to Vrindavan and stay there so that he can leave his body in Vrindavan. So he will not get birth again. So it is said that one has to pray that if one is begetting an offspring, with this offspring, let this be the last life for our child in this material world. So devotees don't cry when they cry because they miss the Vaishnava, but you are leaving this material world. That is the biggest thing, because jivas don't belong to the material world. We don't belong. That is why we are struggling. The jiva is eternal, and the jiva belongs to the Supreme Lord and has to go back home, back to God. We may apply any scientific theory, Mataji. We may apply any theory from modern age or AI or anything to make our life pleasurable, to make our life happy in these circumstances using AI, modern medicines, and say. So once one of my colleagues was saying, ki, we can even combat death. There are such medicines that we don't have to have food, but we have to have some 8 to 10 tablets, and then death will not come. Do you think he will be successful? So I try to tell him, but then they will not understand. He says, such technology has come. You don't have to have food, but just have these 7 to 8 tablets in a day, and then you will not. There will be newer cells generated in the body. That's what he was giving me reason. New cells will generate, and the old age can be combated. No, for a person who has taken a birth in the material world, death is sure. Better to realize, to utilize this time. We are in emergency. Srila Prabhupada said we are in emergency. So utilize that time. It doesn't mean after retirement we to take bhakti. जब मेरे काम काज हो गए, मेरे रेस्पॉन्स हमारे रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कभी खत्म ही नहीं होंगे ये वर्ल्ड में. एंड बाय द टाइम वी बिकम ओल्ड दैट वी कांट रीड स्क्रिप्चर्स, वी कांट हियर एनीथिंग, एंड वील हैव बॉडीली एक्स एंड पेन्स. So the jiva is not meant to be staying in this material world at all. Because of his envious nature, he is lording it over nature, that he is thrown into the material nature. And because people don't, others don't think that they are suffering, they're thinking they are enjoying amidst the miseries. They think the enjoyment is more. I have this, I have that. That is why that I have this money, because he thinks that even if he faces problem, his money in the bank, his kith and kin, his family members, if somebody will help. but then later on he will come to realization that time it will be too late, that nobody is going to help him, and the eternal time factor, Kala, will consume us at the time of our departing from this material body, because the material body is a temporary house. उनको ये समझ नहीं है रक्षा माता जी, दैट इज वाई दे आर टॉकिंग लाइक दैट, दैट वो जिस बॉडी में रहते हैं वो भी उनका भाड़े का घर है। तो जैसे ही वो समय के साथ वो भाड़े का घर का नाश हो जाता है, दे विल रियलाइज दैट दे हैव वेस्टेड देयर टाइम।
Very true, Mataji. They don't want to understand. It is the main problem. They
Yes, they
know
will not
so many
understand
things, but they don't want to understand.
because they don't face reversals in life. Such people don't have probably faced any miseries. But then we know that miseries can come anytime without even informing. It can come anytime.
Very true, Mataji.
Mataji, actually, sorry, can I ask a question, Mataji?
Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah, actually, I have a small question. It's not a small question. There are two questions, and I have been always confused about that situation, how to handle that. And it's about my, business and my business partners.
Hmm.
I have three business partners.
Hmm.
Now they believe in a particular sect,
Hmm.
and I know for sure it is not in that parampara. वो sect जो
Hmm.
है, it is not in a parampara first of all.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
secondly, कोई philosophy नहीं है, बस एक
Hmm.
गॉड है, और वो
Hmm.
जो उनके जो गुरु हैं उसको गॉड ही मानते हैं.
हाँ.
And they are my business partners, and I first they were working with me for 15 years. Now we are partners for almost 26 years.
Hmm.
And thrice in a week I am there with them. तो जब वो लोग बात करते हैं, totally emotional, absolutely without any rationality,
Hmm.
तो मेरे को उनके प्रति थोड़ा एक गुस्सा भी आता है. और
Hmm.
उसी गुस्से में समटाइम्स मैं बोलता हूँ ये क्या बकवास कर रहे हैं यार, क्या कैसे समझाऊं. और जब मैं उनको बोलता हूँ व्हाट
Hmm.
अबाउट लाइफ की, भाई व्हाट इज दैट, एज यू एक्सप्लेन्ड ऑल दिस वंडरफुल थिंग्स, नॉट इन दैट डेप्थ, बट एटलीस्ट आई गिव देम द जिस्ट ऑफ दैट नॉलेज. वो सुनते ही नहीं है बिल्कुल. तो माय क्वेश्चन इज, व्हेन आई एम गेटिंग वेरी एंग्री ऑन देम, समटाइम्स थोड़ा बहुत कभी मेरे मन में ऐसा कुछ उनके प्रति भावना भी ऐसी हो जाती है, उनके जिसको इतना मानते हैं गुरु या
Hmm.
भगवान, तो
Hmm.
उसका क्या परिणाम होगा. वन क्वेश्चन इज दैट what will be the effect of that, and it happens because I meet them thrice in a week at least. अभी 3 दिन जाता हूँ मैं. One is that.
Hmm.
Second,
Hmm.
as a they are my business partners since last 26 years, Mataji, and we go as a family together,
Hmm.
out of India घूमने, या कभी इंडिया में very regular.
Hmm. Hmm.
वहां भी जाता हूँ तो वही इनका खाना पीना ऐसा रहता है कि दे आर लिविंग लाइक एक्चुअली एनिमलिस्टिक लिविंग.
Oh.
लेकिन ऐसे बताते हैं कि भाई हम तो एकदम ऐसे परम धाम में पहुंच गए हैं, परम सेक्ट में है भाई, जहाँ हमारा उद्धार जरूरी है, हमको मुक्ति जरूर मिल जाएगी, ऐसे बातें करते हैं.
Hmm.
तो वहां पे भी मैं वो बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकता हूँ माता जी. वो गुस्सा तो आता है, और वो गुस्सा मैं निकालता हूँ अलग अलग तरीकों से. तो इस सिचुएशंस को, ये दो मेरी जो दुविधाएं हैं जिसको मैं सॉल्व नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ इतने सालों से, और मेरे को कोई उसका आंसर भी नहीं मिल रहा है, तो हाउ शुड आई हैंडल दिस, एटलीस्ट कॉन्शियसली. आई नो
Hmm.
फिजिकली मेरे को चेंज करना डिफिकल्ट है सिचुएशंस,
Correct.
बिकॉज बिजनेस में है
Correct.
तो आई
So
कांट
not only
इन्वॉल्व.
you, all of us face this situation, and we dread as you progress in devotional service, devotional activities. You feel मैं मेटलिस्टिक लोगों के साथ अपना एसोसिएशन रख नहीं सकता हूँ. You slowly want to repel from them. You want to move away from them. But if you are forced to be in that situation, like for me also,
Yes.
I have to be in office and these people will talk nonsense and always talk about money, and money is everything, and how we have to make more money and more money and more. The topic never ends. They are only looking at their thing. So of which, although they are also coming from some dharma, but they have no knowledge that they might have even little bit knowledge that okay, beyond 60, 65, whatever 70, life, sustaining life will be difficult, but they only concerned about the prompt things. So one thing is, first of all, one has to be at peace, otherwise we lose our peace, right? So you can shut your ears or you can focus on something else, or no point getting angry, Prabhuji. I've realized that that only hurts us. If that anger only gives us stress, and our bodily elements will go up and down. So one is, we have to be peaceful. When Narayani Mataji used to tell me, be peaceful, I wouldn't understand what is she meaning. But now, when you go through an upheaval yourself and you heal, then you try to attain peace. So when you get peace, you know that nothing outside happening around you should affect you. That is peace. So what does it mean is, आपको त्यागना है उनका एसोसिएशन. त्यागने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप उनसे दूर भागें. त्यागने का मतलब ये है कि वो कुछ भी करें, वो कुछ भी बोलें, वो कुछ भी बकें, आपको अफेक्ट करना नहीं चाहिए. दैट इज डिटैचमेंट. सो यू बी डिटैच्ड विद देम, but whatever they speak should not affect you. So you buy your peace. You say your prayer in your mind, or you focus on something else, you buy your peace, then external turbulence should not affect us.
माता जी वो
Second.
तो मैंने, ये सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, एक्चुअली दैट आई हैव हैंडल्ड इट, बिकॉज वो तो मैं कर पाता हूँ थोड़ा बहुत. पर
Hmm.
मेरा जो बेसिकली क्वेश्चन था, लाइक जब वो इतना डीप भाव दिखाते हैं कि भाई वी
Hmm.
आर सो डेडिकेटेड टू अवर गॉड, गॉड ही बोलते हैं उसको, जो
Hmm.
बिना किसी परंपरा के है, बिना किसी फिलोसॉफी के है, तो उसके प्रति जो
Babs.
मेरे को
Are you
गुस्सा
referring to
आता है.
Babs? Babs, they are following
हाँ,
Babs? Huh?
सॉरी, नो 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 नो,
Are,
नॉट बैप्स माता जी. ये
okay.
एक, आई डोंट नो वेदर यू नो देम और नॉट. इट्स अ सेक्ट कॉल्ड मेहर बाबा बोलते हैं लोग.
Meher
ये
Baba. हाँ, I
एक,
know. हाँ,
ही
I
उसका
know.
बड़ा
From
बहुत जय वर्ड.
from Madhya Pradesh, no? Somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, right?
नो नो नो
Yeah.
माता जी, इट्स इन अहमदनगर. इट्स इन
Meher Baba.
अहमदनगर.
Okay. हाँ.
हाँ, मेहर बाबा करके, इफ यू विल गूगल इट, यू विल गेट इट.
Hmm.
तो
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
उनका कोई परंपरा में नहीं है वो, बट उनके जो भक्त हैं उनको भगवान ही मानते हैं. तो
Hmm.
मैं भी कभी उनके साथ दो चार बार गया था, व्हेन आई वाज इन,
Hmm.
इंक्विजिटिव टू नो अबाउट द थिंग्स, तो मैं जाता था.
Hmm.
तो उसके प्रति इनका इतना डीप भाव देख के जब मैं गुस्सा करता हूँ मेरे मन में, उस
Hmm.
मतलब भगवान ने भी क्या कैसा सिखाया है भाई, क्या बता रहा है इनको.
Hmm.
तो वो
Hmm.
जो मेरे को बाद में गिल्ट फील होता है कि मेरी जो ये थॉट्स आई, तो
Hmm.
ठीक है उनके गुरु हैं, उनको भगवान मानते हैं, लेकिन मेरे को जो उसके प्रति भावना कभी ऐसी आती है, तो what will be the, क्या बोलते हैं, destination for that consciousness when I have it for few seconds or few days,
No,
ऐसा.
Prabhuji, we have to consciously practice not to get affected. I know about this Meher Baba, one of the doctors in Borivali. He also follows Meher Baba. He has his photo. I have seen it,
हाँ,
Dr. Ranawat. And
काफी लोग हैं.
they are, maybe you're talking about Nagar, but they are from Madhya Pradesh. I think he visits them. He visits that place, and they have a satsang or whatever every now and then. The doctor also goes. Dr. Ranawat also goes. I know.
हाँ,
फोटो भी देखा है मैंने उनका. सो वी कैन
काफी
नॉट
जगहों पे है.
ब्रेक somebody's faith. And one of the 10 अपराध में we cannot even preach to the faithless. So जिनको faith नहीं है, only जो अपने पास inquisitive nature से आते हैं, हम उन्हीं को preach कर सकते हैं. हमको हमारा philosophy उन पे थोपने की जरूरत नहीं है. You leave them to their thing. Okay, you leave them to
अच्छा,
their thing.
ओके.
Actually all religions speak the same, like whether it is Christianity, every religion speaks the same thing, but only thing, people are not come to that understanding. There are pure practitioners of Christianity. They also understand that they also make prayers and whatever. I'm not going to that part. So
या या
let them, it will take them couple of lifetime, we don't know, right? So we are not God, we are a fellow being. So we, at some time, you have to be swarthi, you have to be only focus on yours. So that is detachment. Mentally you get detached from them, Prabhuji. That is the
अच्छा,
best way. And not physically, because you are forced because of your office related work, but you have to force be, but mentally you have to उनके मध्य में रहते हुए भी आपको अपना
हम्म,
संयम रखना है. दैट इज द बेस्ट वे टू प्रैक्टिस डिटैचमेंट from such people whose faith is not the same or on the perfect path as we think so. So otherwise
ओके
there will be
ओके.
dvanda, and we will be not having peace in our own self. So that will become difficult for us to practice. So we will be thinking. So even when we try to take japa, these thought process will come. What did they say? So better either, if you hear, avoid that place. If they are discussing something deep, you can avoid the place. Or if it happens during a meeting, then you cannot avoid. Then you don't be affected. So that is the way to
ओके.
detach.
Okay,
प्रभु
Mataji.
जी
Yes.
ये टॉपिक ही मत निकालो, दैट इज द मोर इम्पोर्टेंट। कि अगर कुछ भी बोले तो वेरी गुड, आप करते रहिए, आप हमें ऐसा ही बोलना है, यू डू योर वर्क, कोई बात नहीं, अच्छा ही, बहुत अच्छा ही है। हमें हमारा जो
नहीं,
भी
जो
है
भी
वो
फेथ है
बताने की।
उनको वो उनके फेथ पे टिके रहने दीजिए,
हाँ, यस।
Mm.
because everybody might be getting some benefit out of it.
Yeah.
So Ashutosh and Bhagwan Shiv, so we know that Lord Shiva is the param bhakt of Vishnu, but we can't go and tell the Shaivites that, oh, you should also worship because Shiva is doing jap of Ram 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 in Kashi, so you should do. So we cannot tell them, but when they come to the inquiry or when they become inquisitive, then we can say, because भगवान का चरणामृत बहुत important है। जब वामन देव के त्रिविक्रमा हुए और उनके पैर उन्होंने वो टच किया स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड, वहां से गंगा निकली, तो इट वॉश द फीट ऑफ वामन देव, एंड दैट चरणामृत Shiva accepted it as Ganga on his head, so he took the charnamrit of Lord on his head. So that is how he takes. So we
Yeah.
know we know all the connections and all these things, but the Shaivites will not know. So better to, even if they speak, like sometime in my brother will say no, Brahma is supreme and not. So this happened couple of years ago. Then
Yeah.
I, beyond the point, I didn't take up the argument, because otherwise वो जो कर रहे हैं वो भी करना छोड़ ना दे
हाँ,
वो. So अगर
बिल्कुल
वो
सही है
कर रहे हैं,
माताजी।
he thinks Brahma is a creator, Brahma has created everything. So let them think. They don't accept Vishnu. So although in ritualistic, the
It happens.
Bhattji will
Yeah.
talk about Vishnu, Vishnu,
Yeah.
Vishnu, Govinda, everything. But
Yes.
इनका realization उतना ही है, तो we'll have to leave them, because otherwise
हाँ,
it'll enter into an argument and your relationships will be
yeah.
cut with the person. So
That is
better
true,
to,
Mataji.
beyond a point, not to discuss with.
हरे
Yeah, yeah.
कृष्ण
Actually,
माता जी।
मुझे उससे कला बढ़ जाता है, और हम ही डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं अल्टीमेटली, उनको कोई फर्क
हरे
नहीं।
कृष्णा, would
Yes,
like to
Mataji.
share a small incident I had read. May I, Mataji?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, very short. We all have heard about Vinoba Bhave. Vinoba Bhave's mother used to face the similar problem, because Vinoba Bhave's father never supported her on this. So what she used to do those days, 2 generations ago, they had to clean the rice, they had to cut the wood, all that. So each and every rice she used to clean, she will take God's name. She used to do that, not loudly, in the mind. And she used to feed the family with that. Although she could not change her husband, she could create Vinoba Bhave. So I think we should all follow whoever is facing this.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
correct. So now what
Thank you,
happened,
Mataji.
like when we talk to my brother, we start with Hare Krishna. So we type also Hare Krishna. So they say Hare Krishna. So that is a purifying process. So he will say Hare Krishna, and while going we'll say Hare Krishna. So that is how we have to put something in practice, or Hare Bol. So it will come slowly, but let's see. You can pray to Lord that इनको भी sincere बना दीजिए, इनको भी ध्यान, इनको भी intelligence दीजिए. That is what they say, that intensity of our prayer should be greater than what they are praying to Meher Baba. So if you pray intensely for them also, so then that will benefit. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Yeah, थोड़ा लंबा हो गया.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thanks a lot to all the
थैंक यू
Vaishnavas.
माता जी, थैंक यू माता जी। दंडवत प्रणाम, दंडवत प्रणाम टू ऑल।
पतितानां पावने वैष्णव